So the last thing in your boat is your electric.
Now this is a great story too.
Okay.
And I don't often get called. I was trying to think about how to describe to you, John, my role in Nashville when it comes to electric guitar. And I am not the vanilla ice cream or the chocolate or the strawberry. I'm like 15 flavors in, man. Some Oreo crunch combo. In that, I'm not able to switch gears as quickly and with as much precision as the cats that sit in those chairs like Derek Wells and Rob McNally and Bukovac and Jed Hughes. But I love playing electric, and every once in a while I'm the right guy, for the role or whatever. And I have had some good electrics over the years, but going back to that year 2019 playing with Vince, I had a couple experiences getting to play in Vince's band up to that point. And I remember the first time I got the chance to do that, and Vince being my all-time hero. It's come on, man, I've died and gone to hillbilly heaven. But Vince calls me ahead of rehearsal and said, "Hey, man, if you got anything you want to try out, I got a bunch of guitars. Like, just let me know, and you can borrow something while we're out on these gigs." And so my gears are turning, Like, how do I ask not for everything, right? Well, I'd like a black guard telly, maybe a white guard telly, maybe a thin line, what do you have? And the Strats, and we got to get all the Gibson models, But I was really eating up with Freddie King at the time, and just over the moon for 335s. And I had a Heritage 535, I guess would be their model, which actually plays great, and it was a really good guitar and the best guitar I owned at the time. But I told Vince, I was like, man, I've never really owned a truly great vintage 335, and I would love to get to play one. So I show up for rehearsal, and this guitar is sitting on the stand.
Wow.
And I spend 2-3 weekends that first year I played with him, just in heaven, playing this guitar, learning it, and didn't see it, didn't think about it, for years. A couple years later, I'm getting married, and oh man, I get a call from Vince, and just off the cuff, he's like, "Man, when you get a chance, come by the house, man. I got a little wedding gift for you." And so I'm driving down to Vince and Amy's house thinking, man, I bet they got me and Kristen like the nicest toaster anybody's ever seen. Like she would toast 8 slices on different settings at once, and Bluetooth and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I walk in, and it's this guitar.
Oh,
and it's sitting in a case. And I see Amy on the way in. She said, "Yeah, he changed the strings on it last night, and he's sitting with me, and we're talking, and I'm just bawling." And he had played this guitar on the Crossroads with Sting up in New York for CMT, and of course I had played it, when I was borrowing it. And he just said, "You deserve to have a really great electric you can play." And he gave it to me. He told me the story how he got it. He was coming home from a gig in Oklahoma somewhere. Somebody had reached out to him online and said, "Hey, I got my dad's old 335. I don't know much about it, but I'm here in so-and-so middle of nowhere, Oklahoma." And Vince is like, I'm going to be coming through on the way home from a gig. And this guy's an EMT that he's buying this thing from. So I think Vince's bus must have just pulled into a truck stop.
Sure.
Somewhere in the middle of Oklahoma.
Did the deal.
In comes the ambulance. The EMT hops out, pulls a gold spray painted case with this guitar in it out of the back, and Vince buys the guitar. And I call it my Excalibur, and
it's great.
I try to be worthy of it,
What year is it? Do you know?
It is a 1960 dot neck.
Wow.
I forget which is which, but one of these pickups is original, and one Vince got from his when he was in the Time Jumpers. Andy Reese, great guitar player that plays in the Time Jumpers.
What is this crazy thing there?
This is a Joe Glazer modification that helps, I think, with intonation. And I'm the world's worst on technical stuff. I think keeps from any of the extra ringing and stuff.
Overtones.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a Joe Glazer contraption there.
That's so great.
Yeah, and it's beat up, but man, it's and I'll need to work on the binding at some point.
Beat up by Vince Gill.
Beat up by Vince Gill and some dude driving an ambulance in Oklahoma, his dad, But it's a well-loved guitar, and it's more than anything, it's a reminder of how to be.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
And, you know, may I be so lucky someday to have an embarrassment. I already have an embarrassment of riches, but to be in a position to give that affirmation to somebody coming into town, wanting to make their mark on music.
That is great.
But yeah,
I think Vince's first good electric was a 335 his parents gave him.
it sure was a red, cherry red.
Yeah,
I think.
cherry red.
And he still has it.
Back to the "Let Me Love You Tonight" Pure Prairie League days. Was it Pure Prairie League?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
Pretty wild. He played in a lot of folks' bands before being the Vince Gill we all know, you know.
Yeah.
And now he's an Eagle, you know.
Yeah, now he's an Eagle,
which is
right?
great. Yeah, right back to where
While
he
he's
started.
at it.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a great instrument. And,
hey, let's hear that thing a little bit.
Yeah, man. This bridge pickup really.
PAFs almost have that big telly thing going.
Well, that is something I was learning about 335s around the time this became mine, is that, you know, your volume control right here is its own tone library.
Sure.
And yes. Well, here's this compressor. So pulling that back.
Yeah.
You got all that room to go. It gets real spanky. Down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it, man.
Yeah, man.
And what an amazing story.
So wild.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.